Hey, book lovers. We are Ellen and Sarah, and this is Besties and Books, where we drink wine, share laughs, talk fantasy, and all the stories that steal our hearts.
Today we have our monthly reading wrap up. We are already in November, nearing the end of the year. We have 5 books to review this month, a couple fantasy, a couple romantasy, a sci-fi novel, and a mafia romance, which is going to be so much fun. So with that being said, oh, by the way, all of these wrap ups are completely spoiler free. So you don't need to worry about skipping ahead, totally spoiler free. With that being said, don't forget that if you're loving our content to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you don't miss any of our future videos.
All right, let's get into it. Book 1 for this month was Redeeming Six by Chloe Walsh. Now, if you are interested in a full spoiler version, we have done a vlog of this book and all of the other books in the Boys of Tommen series. Redeeming Six is book number 4. So it concludes the story of Joey and Aoife. It is a very intense book. They are grappling the aftermath of trauma. There's addiction, heartbreak. Book 3 also follows the story of Joey and Aoife. So we end book 3 on quite a cliffhanger. Joey's family life is severely dysfunctional. There is abuse, neglect, addiction, and he has hit rock bottom. And Aoife, who absolutely loves him and has always been there for him, refusing to abandon him even when things are the darkest. She starts off this book also very, very low and losing hope. So the book has some real lows. It is full of emotion. You will be in tears. You'll feel like you've been gut punched. But there are also some very, very beautiful moments throughout the book.
Yeah.
I loved the book. Ellen loved the book, as we know because we did the vlog.
Yeah, this one isn't a surprise because normally when we review all of our books, we don't know what the other person thought. It's a total surprise when we talk about it. But this one, because we did the spoiler vlog, we do know our opinions. But yes, totally loved it. And I loved it more than Saving Six.
Yes, I agree. I only rated Saving Six 4. And I did rate this one slightly higher. But, I would say overall, I was thinking about it this morning. Did I like the story of the Shannon Johnny story or the Joey Aoife storyline? Yeah. And I think I'd pick the Shannon and Johnny.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to pick Joey and Aoife.
Because Joey and Aoife feel a bit more mature to me. Just a bit more relatable to me, but their story is so much darker than Johnny and Shannon's. So there's a lot of humor, even though Johnny and Shannon had a really dark sort of environment that they were getting together in. There was a lot of light, a lot of humor that sort of broke it up a bit. Whereas Joey and Aoife is just dark. There's the only lightness to it is the cameos that we get from Gibbsy.
And even then, the cameos from Gibbs were few and far between in books 3 and 4. Books 1 and 2, I laughed out loud a lot amidst all the intense scenes. I don't think I laughed out loud in books 3 and 4. I loved them and I was gripped by them. I cried more in book 4 than I did in any of the other books.
Book 4 was really emotional. I did laugh out loud. I felt like the cameos were a lot better in book 4 with Gibbsy.
Yes,
there was only 1 or 2 in book 3, whereas there was quite frequent in book 4. But I just don't know if I could read it again and again and again without feeling really dark and sort of miserable. Yeah. So look, it's still 5 stars to me. It is still Redeeming Six, absolute 5 stars. But it's 5 stars because it emotionally destroyed me, wrecked me, brought all the feels, that sort of thing. It wasn't a...
Yeah, don't read it for a lighthearted holiday read, but read it if you want to just be totally immersed in the world and be sobbing by the end.
Yeah, totally. With that being said, do you want to say what your rating was? I said mine was 5 stars already.
Yes, mine was also 5 star.
Yeah. All right, moving on to book 2 for the month. We had One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is book 1 as part of a duology. So basically we're following Elspeth. She's infected as a young girl by this mysterious plague. And when you become infected, you're given magical powers, but the problem is in this world, magic takes. So the more magic that you have, the more it takes from you in a really sort of negative way, or the longer that you sort of dabble in magic or use magic, the more that it takes from your soul, essentially. It's got a super unique magic system, and I just love that Elspeth has, like, her magical ability after being infected is having her mind shared with a monster that she calls the Nightmare. So he's sort of like whispering in her ear, talking to her, protecting her, but is well and truly a monster and can take over and be totally ruthless. So you tell me what you think first about the story. I want to know.
I really enjoyed it. I thought,
Yeah.
like you said, the magic system was very unique.
Yeah.
There's a series of these Providence cards. So those who aren't infected with magic, they still can use magic via these Providence cards, which, like Ellen said, still does take a toll. So I loved learning more about that. I was initially a little bit confused, which I think you normally are with a new magic system. But by the end of the book, I was quite interested in the Providence card magic system. There is an enemies to lovers aspect that I didn't think was very good. It sort of went from 0 to, I think they're together now. That just sort of happened. It wasn't even really enemies, I would say. It was just we met and now we're together. And there's a bit of sort of angst at the beginning. I actually found, so this is one I didn't read. I listened to it and I found it quite hard to get into it. Like it felt, when listening to it, it felt like a little bit disjointed and it just sort of jumped around until I got into every sort of chapter or scene. I was a bit lost. So I don't know if it would have been different reading it. But yeah, it just didn't flow very well listening to it.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought, I'm keen to read the next one. I wouldn't rave about it, though.
Yeah. Like, I agree with you on some things and not others. So I got into this one straight away. I found it super easy to follow what was happening, and I was super intrigued by the magic system. I was so drawn to this nightmare in her head. I loved that concept. But the romance didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, because I was sort of anticipating enemies to lovers unfolding in a different way than it did. And I think that would have, if the romance unfolded in the way that I thought it was going to unfold, I think that would have been awesome, amazing. I would have been like, tell me more. But the romance that did occur, I didn't fall for it. I didn't care. I cared more about the fantasy story and the plot than the romance. The romance is kind of on the side for me. So yeah, I totally agree on that front. I didn't fall for that romance. I don't care for him at all. I was more interested in Elspeth and the nightmare in her head, and then how the Providence card works and the magic system. But I still really enjoyed it. I binged it and I loved the ending.
Yes, same. I think that was I thought it would be coming, but I wondered if it would not happen so completely. And then I was just like, whoa, okay, we're here at the end of book one. All right, cool. And I did like, it had the sort of the gothic setting, haunted forest type vibe to it. That was I liked that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should definitely read the second book.
Yeah. And another critique that I have on it too is I'm just not a fan of the plague or the infection trope. I wish there was another way to do that. I don't know what it is, but I just don't care about an infection or a plague. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Do you know what?
I think it's because we've had a few now. What was that other one where we only read the first book? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh.
And it was the same thing.
I do.
She was
and
infected.
It was terrible. Yeah. It was so bad. I can't remember the name of it.
But yes, I think we've read a few books with the plague infection type trope, and it just hasn't, no one's ever done it very well.
Yeah, maybe this is a bit dark of me, but I don't like the idea of something being able to be cured. I prefer someone to turn into a creature and then having to evolve from that and sort of step into that new role, like say a human turning into a vampire or and you know, investigate the new powers. But for an infection or a plague that can be I don't know. Anyway,
we'll have to find one that works.
Yeah, let's give our rating.
All right,
1, 2, 3, 4
3
stars. So I say 4. I initially gave it 4, but I actually think it's a 3.5. Somewhere between the 3.5 to 4.
Yeah.
because I just wish I fell for the romance a bit more. But anyway, okay. What have you got next?
All right, next up we have Sinners Anonymous by Summer Sketcher. So this is book 1 of a series. There are 4 or 5 books in the series from memory. So the main character, a young girl called Rory, she is engaged to very much an older man whose name is Alberto. He is the head of a mafia family. She agrees to this marriage to save her father. At some point, she does seem to realize that she may have made a mistake because he seems to be backing out a little bit on their marriage agreement. You don't really know until the end of the book what their marriage agreement was, but she does meet Angelo, her fiance's nephew, and their interactions start off very sort of tense, charged with attraction. So she sort of wants him to go away because he makes her a little bit uncomfortable. But of course, she gets drawn into sort of his world, and there's secrets and sort of power struggles. It's a dark mafia romance, has sort of some heavy themes of power, sin, redemption. There's obviously the enemies to lovers sort of scenario, and age gap romance. So what did you think?
It's funny because I remember binging through this, and I remember enjoying this and just it being an easy read, even though it had some dark elements. But I totally forgot about the plot. So it can't have sat with me that well. It can't have been that amazing that I'm raving about it.
The thing that stands out the most, because I feel like I read this might have been the first one of the month. I can't remember now. So it feels like a long time ago that we read it. But like, I almost in the first few pages, I was like, oh, I can't handle this. The fact that she uses like bird words.
No, I know. That's the one thing I remember. So I was like, this is so cringe.
The whole book, she's just like, oh, swan, oh, goose, oh, pelican, oh, holy crow was the worst one. I was just like, what is going on here? And I found it really off-putting, except that when she meets the nephew, Angelo, and they sort of have some charged moments, he brings it up a few times. I don't know whether it's to her face or in his head he's just thinking like, what the heck is wrong with this girl? And then I sort of started enjoying it and just finding it quirky because he was paying her out about it. But I was like, what a weird thing to incorporate into the book.
It was so cringe. I couldn't stand it. Even when he like started calling her his magpie or whatever it was, I was like, I can't.
I know.
Can we just not?
I think by the end, though, I found it more just funny than cringeworthy.
Yeah, okay. I found it cringe the whole time.
It's got plenty of those sort of, what are those, those moments like touch her and die, sort of like protective. Those moments that you would expect of a mafia book. It definitely reminded me of the Maid series that we previously went through, but maybe just not quite as good.
Yeah, I don't think this was as good. But I did enjoy, there was a bit more of the background into the mafia and the dynamics there, whereas we didn't have that in the Maid series. And I wondered whether you would appreciate that more.
I liked that. So I really enjoyed it. Like you, I reckon I got through it it can't have been that long because I feel like I just flew through it.
Yes,
and I was completely entertained and engrossed the whole time. But like you, I'm sort of like, I can't remember any of the real key events. Apart from it was just enjoyable and an easy read.
Yeah. I think what really got me was there was a few spicy scenes where I was like, holy crap, this is so... I was just like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my God. Like in public, I don't know if you remember, to do with his car.
Yes.
I was just like, oh, so if you want... I'd say this kind of book, if you liked 50 Shades of Grey, it's exactly like that, but with mafia. I would describe this.
I never read 50 Shades.
I don't know if you ever read 50 Shades. I read it like years and years and years ago, but just in terms of the whole punishment, master, subservient sort of relationship. Yeah.
Yeah,
anyway.
okay.
But I actually liked that. I liked the in public spice scenes at times because it was just so, the confidence that oozed out of him was just like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, what is he really going to do this? Like, what is happening? And that's what made me, like, not put it down. Like, I'm like, he's not Surely he's not going to do this in
But still,
public.
it never bordered on what was that book we read? Feathers So Vicious, where it was like the
Yes.
spicy scenes were like absolute abuse as well as spiciness, and that
Yes.
was too far for me. I
Yeah.
enjoyed all the spice in this book.
Yeah. Me too. It was all consensual. So, yeah. All right. What do we got? Oh, we should give our rating.
Yes,
1, 2, 3.
3.5.
4 stars. Yeah, I actually put 3.5 to 4.
Do you know I had 4
But I
to
think
start with? Oh well, pretty much the same
I
then.
don't know. So somewhere between the 3.5 to 4. Yeah.
I
agree.
would like to read the next one in the book. So the rest of the books
me
of the
too.
series, I think they focus on each of his brothers. I think I read the little like synopsis for the next few books. So it's gonna work through all of the brothers. I was like, okay, I'll read that.
Yeah. So the next book that we read is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 1 in a sci-fi series. We love Brandon Sanderson. Well, Sarah more so than me. I can't say that I'm a Brandon Sanderson connoisseur because I've only read 3 other of his books in the Way of King series. But he's very, very good. He's like a scholar of fantasy, but I feel like you have to go into his books knowing that you probably have to do a bit more mind work. Like it's not going to be an easy bingeable read. You've sort of really got to be, he writes really well and really it's easy to read, but it's just not as bingeable because he really draws you into that world building element. But anyway, back to the book. So we are following Spensa. She lives on a whole nother planet, so not Earth. She is trapped there with, I think, a few hundred other people, and they are in an endless war that's been going for hundreds of years against an alien species called the Krell. And ultimately, these pilots are defending the planet and humankind and have a dream to escape this world and get past the Krell. So she dreams of becoming a pilot, but she, in her quest, I guess, to become a pilot and help defeat the Krell, it's all overshadowed by something that her father did really early on in the book. And the whole book sort of is her trying to break through and prove to everyone on this planet that she is her own person. She's nothing like her father. She can be a pilot in her own right, and she really wants to break free of this stigma that has just followed her all the way from childhood until now. What did you, I know you've read this one before though, so tell me, what did you think?
Well, I read this, just the first book of this series I read when it first came out, which was close to 10 years ago now. So I really didn't remember anything. The only thing I remembered was that she finds at some point an old sort of ruined ship, and she ends up taking it upon herself to repair this ship. So that's really the only thing I could remember. But I really enjoyed it. I was thinking, I mean, it's a young adult science fiction, unlike Way of Kings, which is very much an adult fiction. So the storyline's much more complicated. So it's an easier story to read than a lot of his other novels. But I think he still brings to it just this finesse in his writing that you just get so engrossed. Like he writes, it's not a book that I don't think any of his books you can read without being sort of drawn into the story or affected emotionally. Like the themes, particularly this one, the following your dreams despite the odds, and loyalty, sacrifice, overcoming adversity. Like in all of his books, he brings in strong themes and he does it well, and his character development, I think, is second to none. So I really enjoyed it. It's, of all of the series I have read, the Mistborn series and Way of Kings would be my favorite, but they're sort of targeted to an older audience. But for a young adult first book in a series, I thought it was great. But you're probably not going to hear, too much criticism from me for Brandon Sanderson.
No, I think the only criticism that I would have, I agree with everything that you said. There's 2 things that sort of irked me a little bit. Now the second thing has totally slipped my mind. But the first thing was some of the things that she says. It's in the first 20%, I think, mostly of the book, that were like, I'm going to cut your head off and kill the, whatever. She's just always very aggressive, and I'm like, calm down, girl. Calm.
See, I didn't mind that because I found that all as part of her, she's grown up being labelled like a coward's daughter. So she's got all this false bravado, which she does lose as the book goes on.
Yeah, I was
That's
going
all.
to say,
That's
did
all.
I
I just sort
imagine
of
that? Did that like disappear, like
yeah,
sort of
yeah. It
midway
does.
by the
I
book?
think
Like
she
it
sort
sort of
of.
fades
I
out.
think she's felt her whole life she's had to defend herself and justify who she is. And then as she sort of maybe finds her place as a pilot, she loses that. But yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. And then when she starts flight school and she has all these like very long-winded, crazy threats, and everyone just goes, what the heck is wrong with this chick? I
Yeah,
really enjoyed that. And
yeah,
I love her, all the scenes of her rebuilding the ship and I love that.
yeah, yeah.
I don't
No,
want to
I
say too
liked that
much.
too. My only other, it's not even really a criticism on the book per se, but more the genre. I think I struggle to binge read, I think, sci-fi. I don't know if
Oh
it's just
yeah.
my first sci-fi, but I'm just not as drawn to it as I would be like fantasy in
Yeah.
general.
I,
So I
I, I
think,
think I'm the same.
yeah, but I think Brandon Sanderson did really well because I still read this book and enjoyed it quite a lot considering it's a sci-fi.
All
Yeah.
right.
Anyway, should we give our rating? 1, 2, 3, 4 stars.
4.2.
Oh.
Well, like you, I was like, I wouldn't give it a 5 because, as much as I loved it, it wasn't amazing. But I thought, it's got to be above a 4.
Yeah. I think it's a solid 4, like easily a 4. And I feel like that's a really high rating for a sci-fi for me. I don't know if I'd rate any
Would
other
you read
sci-fi
that? Would
that
you read
high.
the rest of the series?
Yeah, I'm happy to continue with it. Yeah. All right, what have we got next? We've got Kingdom of Flesh and Fire.
Yes, we do. So this is book 2 in the Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And we continue with the story of Poppy and Castile. So in book 1, Poppy, as a refresher, she's been raised as the maiden, which she doesn't understand at all, but basically she is isolated, she is sheltered, and she's not allowed to interact with the rest of society. By the end of book 1, she has sort of escaped from that world. She's aligned herself with Castile, who is an heir to an enemy kingdom called Atlantia. So pretty much the book 2 is spent heading towards Atlantia. But as they head along their way, Poppy's powers begin to awaken in some strange ways. There's also we learn more information about her bloodline and the mysteries surrounding her bloodline. Like in some ways, it's a fairly stock standard fantasy recipe. There's the enemies to lovers, thrust together in a fake engagement, the morally grey hero, all the sort of protective male tropes and the touch her and die vibe. There's some hidden identities and ancient gods and bloodlines. I found the first book super entertaining. I found this book also super entertaining. I'll definitely read the next one, or we will be reading the next one. There was nothing in this book that blew my mind in terms of shocks that I wasn't expecting or twists that just like knocked me for dead. But I was thoroughly enjoyed. I was thoroughly enjoying it. I was thoroughly enthused.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I totally agree. There was just nothing that super wowed me about this one, but it was bingeable, it was easy, it was fun. I lost a bit of my love for, I think, the male main character. I think by the end, he just started getting a bit boring for me, but otherwise, yeah, it was super bingeable and it was fun.
I was just going to say, I still really liked him by the end of book 2, but I did have a thought that I might get bored with him because I think there's still a few books to go, so it felt like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think like by the end of book 2, he's just now fully into her and like 100% yours and everything you want. I thought, oh, okay, whatever. Like, we're already at that point.
Yeah, like I feel like he wasn't, like by the end of book 2, he wasn't morally grey anymore. There was no sort of dark side to him anymore. He was just like fully good. He was just misunderstood and just totally into her. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so boring.
Something could happen.
I liked the ending.
So did I.
I've already started book 3, so I'm trying not to get the two confused. So I won't go into it any further. But yes, what was your rating? You ready? Should we do it 1, 2, 3?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
3.5.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, that is all from us today, besties. If you love this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our future videos. Until next time.
Bye.